Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. In the last episode, we talked about becoming unapologetically you. We explore why so many women feel the need to apologize. And not just with words, but also in how we explain ourselves, overthink, or ask for what we need. I introduce you to three types of women I've seen on this journey: the unapologetic authentic, the empowered boundary setter, and the evolving self discoverer. If you haven't listened to that episode, it's number 182. Please go check it out. And that conversation sparked something deeper because one of the biggest things that keeps us from apologizing, shrinking, and second guessing ourselves is the lack of boundaries. So today we are going a level deeper. We are talking about how to set boundaries without guilt. Because whether you are growing a business, raising a family, navigating relationships, or all of the above, boundaries are essential. Not just to protect your time, but to honor your energy, your voice, and your growth, even when it is uncomfortable. So if you ever feel guilty for saying no or question whether your needs matter, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Now, let me be honest with you. I didn't grow up being taught that saying yes was always kind or saying no was selfish. My grandmother was a very strong woman. She stood her ground. But my mom, on the other hand, she was the peacemaker. And I have definitely inherited some of that. Sometimes I found myself wanting to keep the peace, even when it came at my own expense. So while I may not have been fully conditioned in the always saying yes way, I can relate to the feeling of not wanting to disappoint others, of second guessing my gut just to avoid conflict. But here's what I've learned over the years: boundaries are not walls, they are bridges. They don't push people away, they create clear path for healthy connections. And that brings me to something I want to share. A story you probably heard before, but is worth revisiting. So, an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. He tells him, "A fight is going on inside me. It is a terrible fight between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self pity, guilt, resentment, false pride, and ego. The other one is good. He is joy, peace, love, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith." The grandson thinks for a moment and asks, "So, which wolf wins?" The old Cherokee simply replies, "The one you feed." This story has always stayed with me because I have felt that fight inside myself. When you are trying to set boundaries, there's often this push and pull. One part of you wants to be liked, helpful, and accommodating. The other part of you is quietly asking for space, rest, clarity, and respect. And the truth is, whichever voice we feed, that's the one that grows louder. So if you've been feeling pulled in different directions, ask yourself, which part of me have I been feeding lately? And is it truly serving me? One boundary I've had to revisit often, especially in my creative work, is around people asking me to work for free with the promise that it will give me exposure. Maybe you've been there too. Someone reaches out with an exciting opportunity, but they are really expecting you to give your time, energy, without offering any real value in return. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say free, I'm not talking about philanthropic work or giving back to the community. That's not what I'm talking about here. I am a firm believer in using our gift to serve. especially when it comes to causes and organizations that align with our values. Giving is a choice and a very powerful one, and it should come from a place of freedom, not pressure. This is biblical. In 2 Corinthians 9:7, the NLT version says, "You must each decide in your heart how much to give, and don't give reluctantly or in response to pressure. For God loves a person who gives cheerfully." And this applies to both your personal and professional life. But what I'm talking about here is different. I'm talking about the kind of opportunity where you are expected to pour your heart and skill into something with no reciprocity, just the vague promise of exposure. I used to hesitate to say no, especially if I like the person or if it sounded like it could be something bigger. I didn't want to come off as rude or too much. But over time, I realized that saying yes to things that didn't align was costing me more than just time. It was costing me energy, focus, and my own self-worth. You start second guessing yourself and resenting people, and it's not even their fault. You had a choice. When we set a boundary, we're not just protecting our time, we are protecting our purpose. I've had to learn how to trust that the right opportunities will honor both my work and my worth. It should be an equal exchange, not always a monetary one. For example, when you are collaborating, you are both getting something in return. I remind myself often that saying no doesn't make me unkind. It makes me clear. And I know setting boundaries is not always easy. Let me say that again. Setting boundaries is not always easy. This isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's something you have to revisit often at each new level of your personal and professional life. Whether you are a business owner, a parent, a creative, or someone navigating major life changes, every new chapter will test your boundaries in different ways. Here are a few things that have helped me. 1. Practice micro boundaries. You don't have to start with a dramatic no or cutting ties with someone. Start small. Maybe it's closing your computer at 6 p.m. and checking your emails again until the morning. Or saying, let me get back to you on that, instead of giving an instant yes. Number 2, notice where you feel resentment. Resentment is a clue. It usually shows up where we said yes when we meant to say no. Number 3, use I language. Instead of defending or explaining, try, I'm not available for that right now. Or I'm prioritizing other commitments. Simple, clear, kind. Number 4, feed the right wolf. Every time you honor your needs, you're reinforcing your self-trust. You're saying, I matter, my time matters, my energy matters. So if you're working on setting boundaries without guilt, here are a few gentle questions to guide you. Whose voice are you hearing when you feel guilty? Is it your own or someone else's expectations? Are you betraying yourself to keep the peace? The peace that cost your peace isn't real peace. What would it look like to choose yourself today? Even in a small way. What are you no longer available for? Sometimes clarity begins with what you are done tolerating. Can you sit with the discomfort of disappointing others without abandoning yourself? That's where growth happens. You deserve to have relationships and work that nourish you, not drain you. And that begins with giving yourself permission to choose you. So here's your gentle reminder. Setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish, it makes you self aware. You're not being mean, you are being clear. You're not pushing people away, you are protecting your peace. You're not overreacting, you're honoring your needs. The more you practice, the easier it gets. And the more you feed the part of you that's rooted in self respect, the stronger it becomes. And remember, you don't need permission to protect your energy. Boundaries are a reflection of self respect, not rejection. And when we model that, we give others permission to do the same. Thanks so much for watching. If this episode resonated with you, please be sure to give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. I want to hear from you and subscribe. That's how more people find this channel and how we continue our mission to empower women to own their worth, lead with confidence, and uplift each other through real, authentic conversations. And hey, share with someone who needs this message today. Until next time, stay true to yourself and remember, the one you feed will dominate.